Hey guys, it's Chill IP, and today we finally got some official information on NBA 2K21. It's about time. We're a little over a month away from the game releasing, so we definitely need information on what we're going to be playing for the next year. All of this dropped within a 2K TV episode. It's divided into two parts, the whole info drop. First half was with Agent 00, yes, the YouTuber. He was on 2K TV. They invited him and they talked with him and Mike Wang about the gameplay to look forward to in 2K21. The second half was all about Myteam, what to expect in NBA 2K21 Myteam. So I'm here just to break down everything from both halves of the interview that we got from here. Of course, if you didn't know, most game devs across the entire industry are now working from home because of the pandemic, and that doesn't appear any different from 2K. NBA 2K is being worked on from home, but they said it's still at 100% efficiency, so we shouldn't expect this to affect the quality of the game, hopefully. Current gen and next gen are actually being worked on by two different studios. This surprises me. I wonder if this was the case for the 2K13, 2K14 jump. They have always talked about how current gen and next gen are going to be two different games. So I'm not totally surprised by this statement, but it's something I did not expect. A different studio means that studio can put all its resources, all its time, all its efforts onto the next gen version of 2K21, and they don't have to deal with anything the current gen version does. The next gen team works on and only works on the next gen game, which is very good. Now, Mike Wang said another main focus of 2K21 is how they can make the game more enjoyable. They wanted to find a balance between realism and fun. And he had a specific example saying when throwing the ball in cherry pick passes all the way down the court, it's not fun when you mostly throw the ball away out of bounds, which I agree, that happens with me a lot. And I do remember people actually having this debate within the gameplay on whether it should be more fun or more realistic. For example, the dribbling in 2K. Is it realistic? No, but people argue that if it was made more realistic, the game wouldn't be as fun. People like doing those dribble moves in the game, and people like watching others pull off those complicated string of dribbles when watching other people play the games. If it was more realistic, you could argue you would remove the fun factor from all of it. So how does 2K create that balance where the game is realistic, where it mimics the real life game of basketball, and where the game is fun to play, fun to spectate, just a fun experience overall? I'm hoping next gen solves that. Next gen consoles are definitely going to be more powerful, way more processing power. It should be way easier to convey realism, the realism of the sport, in a more fun way. Movement will feel very different on current gen versus next gen. Now guys, I know we only gotten a brief small footage of NBA 2K21 on next gen, and that's just being Zion. It's something that I've really pointed out when I saw that trailer. The movement looked way more realistic compared to anything we have seen on the current generation of 2K. The transitions that Zion make from dribbling to going into a shot, whether it was a layup or that dunk he did at the end, it was very smooth, very real. There was no unnatural change in motion. It looked as if he was really dribbling and decided to go for a dunk, which, for example, if you were to try this in current gen 2K, you tried to dribble up the court and then go for a dunk, you notice as soon as you tell your player to dunk, the player's model pretty much goes through this weird little jerk to get them into perfect position, of course, to pull off the dunk animation. None of those weird little hiccups when it comes to player movement. Everything will feel smooth and realistic when next gen drops. At least from what I've seen, that's what I'm hoping for. Now, this was an interesting question that Mike actually asked Agent. Should full whites go in, or should your shot be perfect for it to be able to go in at all? Agent's response to that question is an answer that I 100% agree with. There should be a separate situation where full whites can go in, or only perfect green releases go in. in the regular online mode, full white should be able to go in no matter what. But if you're playing some sort of ranked, some sort of competitive environment within the game, yeah, you should punish people for mistiming their shots. 100% agree with that. Competitive pro-am, and I'm talking about high level pro-am, like the highest level you can compete in. Yeah, punish people for not perfectly timing their shots. At the highest end of competitive Myteam, why not have that in? I am 100% not against this if it's not the only option in the game. There should be times where the game doesn't punish you for mistiming, where you can make whites. And there should be also times where the game does punish you for mistiming your shot. If we have both, it's perfect. Next gen brings everything the current gen version has, but so much more. And there's an interesting question within the Reddit post that says, does this mean next gen won't be bare bones like it was for 2K14? You could argue that 2K14 next gen was pretty bare bones. I wouldn't blame the console jump for that per se. I think 2K really found its identity with each of its diverse modes within this generation of games. And I'm talking PS4, Xbox One. This is a generation where my league, my GM got fleshed out the most. My team truly found its identity on this generation of consoles. And of course, Park, My Career, all that runaway hit this generation. They've nailed that. It's the most popular mode for a reason. These modes are so strong on their own that you could argue that there are legitimate communities that are divided between the modes. Something you rarely see from other AAA games. Usually it's one unified community. 2K's modes are so built well to stand on their own that there are different communities for each and every mode. So coming off these well-built modes for this generation of games, I'm only expecting even better from 2K within the next generation of consoles. And the final note, WNBA fans will be excited to see what they bring to next gen. Hey, multi-season My League, WNBA My Career, female My Players, I don't know. We will see once next gen does drop. That is it for the gameplay side of things. Now we are going into Myteam. And the first note they brought was, yes, Evo cards are returning. Big W. Also though, you do have more control over how you Evo cards. Now, how much control are we going to have with these Evos? Are we going to be able to pick which attributes we want or don't want within our evolutions? Will we be able to pick which badges we want on our evolutions to be upgraded or not? Also, will we be able to pick which positions we want our players to play upon evolution? If we're sticking with position locks, it makes sense to have that sort of system. Myteam Unlimited is returning with new ways to compete. Now, I think the Reddit post has it a little bit different than how it was actually presented. Let me go ahead and see what the 2K TV interview said. So I rewatched the video again and said Myteam Unlimited is returning and there will be brand new ways to compete. So I think Unlimited is going to be in the game exactly how it is. The same 5v5, go 12-0, get player of the month. However, I don't think that will be the only way for us to play actual 5v5 online within Myteam next year. There's this very fantastic article on Forbes. Brian Mazik, of course, written by Brian Mazik, of course, he pretty much writes a bunch of articles on Forbes about 2K. The article was in favor of a salary cap mode. Now, you know, 2K did try a salary cap game mode back in 2K18. It was called Supermax. The problem with Supermax is that it was the only 5v5 mode during that year where you could, of course, use your own cards. Sure, you do get a better competitive environment because not everyone is forced to use overpowered cards. But people do want to run teams full of overpowered cards. So we didn't have an option to do so until 2K literally broke Supermax, maxed out salary cap, so we didn't have to deal with it at all whatsoever. So there was conflict of interest. How do you appeal to the people that want to run God Squads, all their cards that they rightfully have in the game, versus the people that do want a competitive environment? This article pretty much states what I want. If Supermax was in the game, in addition to, not alone, but in addition to Unlimited, it would be perfect. I would like them to take it a step further, pretty much take the book out of Madden. Give us unlimited, give us an uncapped Supermax, and then give us a salary capped Supermax. 3 ways to play 5v5 that I think will appeal to everyone. Maybe throw in a mode where, no one really has to sweat for anything and people can just play if they want to play. All in all, that's what I think what they meant by new ways to compete. Not necessarily something's happening to Unlimited, but there will be more ways to play 5v5 Myteam, which we have been lacking. You will be competing for championship rings in NBA 2K21. Now that's pretty interesting, and I think I have an idea what 2K could be going for. So you know how Park has these 2K compete events where of course you compete in the event and the top few people on the leaderboard win the best rewards in the game. That's what I think could be happening within NBA 2K21 Myteam. Now the only reason why I'm saying this is because they say rings as plural, so I think multiple people do have chances at winning rings. So what I'm thinking is that there's going to be random competitive events within NBA 2K21 Myteam, and the goal is to rack up as many points as you can on the leaderboard. And I guess either the top one or the top few people that make it to the top of the leaderboards get championship rings, which I'm pretty sure in some sort of way will reflect within the game. If it's physical rings, that's super cool as well. We like that stuff too. But of course, if you do something pretty good in game, it has to reflect in game. Like, in Park, you get some super unique, one-of-a-kind clothing that only event winners can win. I assume if this is how championship rings work, there will be some sort of way for it to reflect within the game. Of course, we already know this. Everything with Myteam does transfer over to next gen. Players, tokens, MT, VC, all that transfers from current gen to next gen. Ronnie though did admit a few weeks ago that some cards will have minor differences, and that's probably because of how different the game is between current gen and next gen. Honestly, I probably did expect this. Myteam isn't necessarily hard to make content for, so it's not that hard to copy and paste it really to next gen. Oh, here's the player, get his model. Here's the stats, paste them there. Just work out the little minor differences that we need to do so they're compatible with next gen. And that is pretty much it for all the info within NBA 2K21, and of course my speculation thrown in. Let me know what y'all thought of the news. Now don't take my speculations as facts. This is just me trying to interpret what they meant by saying these things, because they did throw in blanket statements within this interview. They said, oh, there will be new ways to compete. What could that mean? Oh, there will be championship rings. What could that mean? I could be totally right, I could be totally wrong. But that is it for this video. Any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell as well. I'm Chill IP. Thank you all for watching, and peace.